Everyone, and welcome back. On today's episode, we will be talking about a rather famous documentary series from 2002, The Future is Wild. During the 2000s, documentaries like these and Walking with Dinosaurs were kind of at their peak, and we got a lot of weird ones back then, and I think this one takes the cake. The Future is Wild was a 13-episode series about speculative future. It gave us many weird ideas as it spanned across 5 million years into the future to 200 million years. The first episode is sort of a teaser for what's to come, and then the next 4 episodes take place 5 million years from now, or at least from 2002. In the first official episode, a new ice age has started. Here we meet a weird descendant of the marmot called the shag rat. Out of anything else these group of scientists could have named it, that's what they decided on. Anyways, let's roll with it. After we follow this dude around for a while, we get introduced to something even weirder called the gannet whale. It's a bird that evolved into a whale. They're saying that the gannet, a bird, evolved into this thing. But why not? The future is wild, you could say. In the next episode, we get things called cryptiles and scrophas, strange descendants of lizards and boar. We also are met with this thing. That's all I have to say about that thing. In the next episode, still taking place 5 million years in the future, we get a descendants of the baboon. It's called a babukari, and they travel in packs through big fields. But they need to watch out, because these things live there as well. I will say the designs on these things are one of my favorites. They're really cool. They're known as kara killers. They're another descendant of a bird, the mountain kara to be exact. Next we have this thing called the rattleback, which kind of looks like a pangolin, but more violent. In the next episode, considering we're still in an ice age in 5 million years from now, it takes place in a desert, but the desert is cold. Here we meet some of the even stranger creatures. And you may be asking, how can it get weirder? Well, just look. Here is the Death Gleaner. It's a descendant of the vampire bat. And then we also see a return of another version of the evil pangolin thing, this time being known as the Desert Rattleback. We also see this thing, a descendant of the mole rat. Kinda weird. Moving on to episode 6, we are now 100 million years in the future. Here we meet the Toraton, a giant evolved turtle that is the biggest thing to walk the earth. We also have predator land octopi, known as the Swampus. Please remember this thing, as if I needed to ask. Oh, and we also get the lurkfish, some sort of descendant of a catfish. So did I mention? Now that it's 100 million years in the future, the volcanoes are overheating the planet. Continuing on with the strange water-type creatures that have evolved, here we have these guys. I have not much else to say on these guys. Oh yeah, except for one thing. What was it? Oh yeah. No? Moving on to episode 8 now, we have Tropical Antarctica. Yes. Here we get some sort of new bird variant that can shoot acid out of its mouth, and it gets this acid by eating strange new beetles. Beetles, mind you, that are smart enough to form an attack squadron and kill said birds. Yeah. No thank you. Pass. Nope. Later on in episode 9, we get weird descendants of the hamster, more nose, even more birds, cool new plants. Then moving on to episode 10, we are now 200 million years into the future. Here's where the absolute crazy stuff is. At this point in time, there are absolutely no mammals at all. There's not even any birds anymore, or reptiles, or amphibians. They were all wiped out in a mass extinction event within the last 100 million years. In this episode, we have a lot of insect evolutions, and they look pretty strange. I'm also going to say no to these. Now we move on to episode 11. Here we're now back on Antarctica, 100 million years later. So still 200 million years in the future, but 100 million years since the last time we were here. Now we have things called rainbow squid and sharkopath. Yeah? Oh, and if you're wondering, it glows. Then the next episode takes place in something called a rain shadow desert. It's located on the eastern side of where New York City was. Here tons of bad weather happens, or at least it has mountains tall enough to block out the bad weather that is happening everywhere else on Earth, but inside this area, we have these guys that survive. More weird bug-type creatures. Now to the final episode. Remember when I said remember this squid? Well, now it has a descendant that is like an elephant size, and it stalks the woods, as there's also other squid evolutions that swing from the trees. The Earth is now run by squids. Yeah. You heard me correctly. You also see these weird, strange things too, but be honest, come on, they're not really the main focus when we have this. So, am I going to end it here? Yeah, I think this is the line. So I guess with all of this information, you guys really could say, the future is wild. Did I already say that? Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Have you ever heard of this series? Would you watch this series? What do you think of some of these creatures? Do you want them to exist? It even spawned an animated series. So like I previously stated, these aren't even all of the strange documentaries. Like we have this one, and this one. And if you guys would like me to talk about them in the future, let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time.